So I kind of broke my own phone. Was it my fault? Probably. I was test driving one of our off-road wheelchairs, and my Galaxy S24 Ultra fell out of my pocket and onto the sidewalk. This fall, in and of itself, is probably not what caused the damage though. The damage more likely occurred when I proceeded to run it over at 20 miles an hour, with the fat bike tires grinding and smashing the glass screen into the pavement. And whatever little pebbles might have been under the phone are what caused the damage. You can see the multiple puncture wounds that generate from the center of the glass and not the edges. It was a bad decision on my part to not have a screen protector installed, since a screen protector would have added an extra layer of protection against the tiny pebbles. Either way, today we're gonna fix it. To fix my phone, we have two options. An OEM replacement directly from Samsung that costs $327. Or I can get a third-party knockoff screen for nearly a third the price off of Amazon. For $129, that's not bad, even if it's not actually made by Samsung. I chose the knockoff part since I'm cheap and we can see if it's any good together. Speaking of cheap and extremely helpful, this is the last month that you can ever get one of the 2025 collector's coins from my wheelchair factory. Every penny we make from the sale of these coins goes directly towards making wheelchairs cheaper for those who need them. Someone told me the other day that their first active manual wheelchair cost $12,000 through insurance, where my company can build nearly the exact same thing in 6 weeks, starting at $1,000, a fraction of the price. All thanks to you watching these videos and buying these coins. The silver coin is $15 and the gold is $100. Cambry and I will never take a paycheck from the factory, but for anyone who buys one of these coins before the end of the year, you'll get a hand-signed thank you picture from both of us, because we couldn't do it without you. Thank you for the support. We have a lot of cool projects in the works, which I do need a functional phone for, so back to work. I'm going to turn off the phone first this time around. I'll use copious amounts of heat to help soften the adhesive under the back glass panel. Taking the phone apart myself will 100% ruin the waterproofing, of course, but I think the cracks on the screen already compromise the ingress protection anyway, and I'd rather have a functional screen than glass chunks in my finger. To get the screen off, there are two plugs that I need access to from the back, so both the front and rear of the phone need to be removed. This is definitely not as easy as an iPhone screen or Pixel phone screen replacement, but it is what it is. With the glass removed, I can grab my jerry-rig toolkit. I use this thing all the time. Luckily, my Samsung only requires one type of bit, the small Phillips head. There are 4 of these screws on the metal shield that attaches the 15-watt wireless charging pad. Samsung phones look pretty amazing on the inside. I'll unclip the battery and then unplug the small ribbon cable that goes to the screen, unclipping it just like a little Lego. If I remember right, it's one of these 3 ribbons, and I just unplugged all of them to be safe. The main screen plug is going to be under the black loudspeaker, which has an additional 6 silver screws of its own. The only ribbon that really needs to be unplugged is the black one on the lower right. Now, there are 2 types of screen replacements that Samsung sells. One is just the display without the frame, and the other is called a display assembly. It's kind of tripping me out that Samsung calls their display an LCD when it's supposed to be an AMOLED, but the screen without the frame does cost $131 cheaper than the full frame assembly. Except neither of them are as cheap as my knockoff, so fingers crossed that my unit even works. The extra work of removing the screen isn't all too bad. The main thing is that you don't want any glass dust or adhesive to get inside that front-facing camera, since it has a physical autofocus that does require movement, and if dust gets inside that camera unit, it'll just never focus again. With the screen off and the adhesive all cleaned up, I can finally pull my knockoff out of the box, and I actually didn't realize it came with the whole frame attached. This will kind of make the whole repair easier. But now I'm even more suspicious, since this knockoff is about 1/3 the price of the official Samsung replacement part, and that doesn't seem possible. But there's only one way to see if it works or not, and I can start by transferring everything over. Frankensteining the internals of my daily driver into a brand new, much younger body. This includes the 5G antenna located in the left side of the frame, and everything fits surprisingly well. Next comes the battery, which thankfully is very easy to remove. Huge fan of this. Removable batteries make self-repairs so much easier. It's around here that I noticed that my knockoff is already missing the cooling system. I can see the vapor chamber has been replaced with a copper slab, which will get the job done of course, but the solid copper is definitely far less efficient than the phase change inside of a vapor chamber. But, if that's the only downside, I'll take it. Continuing on with the earpiece speaker, you can see the dust and grime that's been collecting in my pocket over the last 2 years. The goal, of course, is to get another year or two out of this phone with this full body transplant. I'll remove 2 more screws that hold in the camera units, and then I can bring the full brain and eyes of the smartphone over to its new body. Samsung doesn't use thermal paste, but I probably should have dabbed some into the new phone anyway, because it wouldn't have hurt. The front camera is one of the hardest things to remove over since Samsung has glued the 12 megapixel little guy into place. The selfie camera does require movement of the camera lens to focus, so if you find that your camera is blurry when you reinstall it, it might be because it's too snugly pressed up against the front glass. I had to remove the foam gasket inside the frame of the knockoff to get it to fit right. I'll plug in the upper screen connector, as well as the wireless charging for the S Pen, and then I'll move over the second 5G millimeter wave antenna from the right side of the phone. I also realized at this point that I swapped the 2 long extension ribbon cables with each other, but I won't tell anyone if you won't. With everything back in their correct positions, it's time to install the upper earpiece and wireless charging pad. These do have to be installed before turning on the phone, since the power button is connected to the motherboard through a series of contact pads on the underside of the board. So the board has to be screwed in tight before it can receive any signals from the power button. And holy smokes, it's actually working. I can instantly see that instead of the squared off corners of the original screen, I now have rounded corners. The screen does not appear to be as bright, but that might be my imagination, nor do I have any idea of the official resolution or refresh rate. But it's definitely working, and I definitely saved myself about $200 by not buying original replacement parts. Big thumbs up from my wallet for that one, and it even appears to be OLED. Hopefully it'll hold me over until I get the urge to upgrade for real. Fast forward a bit, I've been using this knockoff screen for about a week now, and I've noticed that my battery dies about an hour quicker each day than it used to. And the blacks on the black screen are not as black as they used to be. So if I had to do it all over again, I might just buy directly from Samsung instead. Hopefully though, I'll never have to replace my screen again, since from now on I'll be using a Prism screen protector from Dbrand to protect the glass. And of course, one of my own teardown grip cases to cover the rest. Dbrand did extend their Black Friday sale just for us. For the next 7 days, you can get a 40% discount when you buy the screen protector and grip case at the same time. Link is down in the description. Protection is always a whole lot cheaper than the alternative. Thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.